If you have 30 days to change your life around, to fix your bad habits, to build insane discipline, and achieve real results that make a difference in your life, would you? This is exactly how to become unrecognizable in the next 30 days. Now put this video on full screen because you are going to want to hear all of this. Every single part builds onto the next, and the foundations of your next 3 days are the most important. Step number 1, destroy the old version of yourself. Not literally, but figuratively. You see, you have two different identities. You have the old identity and the new identity. Now to get to where you want to be, to change your identity and become unrecognizable, you have to sacrifice one or the other. You can't live both identities at the same time. You're either the old version of yourself with the old habits, routines, and ways, or you become the new version of yourself and you step into a new life. You see, if that old version of you had nothing that you wanted, then you have to remove every part of that version in order to have everything that you want now, in order to get the things that you want, in order to build that discipline, the success, to make the money you want to make. And you see, to become unrecognizable in the next 30 days, it is going to take more drastic change than you ever expected. And that depends on the level that you are starting at right now. If you're starting at a level where you know that you're doing well, you know you're doing all right, and you still want to get to the next step, that's a lot different from starting at rock bottom. But either ways, you can get to the top with this guide. Now, if you want general self-improvement, this is probably not the video for you. There are a lot of videos on my channel that are more general self-improvement, but this one here, this video in specific, is about becoming unrecognizable. And not in the way that you might think, but at a very deep identity level, changing the very person who does everything. You see, this book right here changed everything for me. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. This is all about how action actually stems from identity. How your identity creates your thoughts, and then those thoughts create emotions, and those emotions drive your actions. So if you want to change it, the actions that you take on a day-to-day basis to change the results that you get, then you're going to have to change your identity. Building habits is good, but if your identity is out of alignment, then it's going to feel so hard to build the right habits you need. It's going to feel so hard to do the deep work, and the action you need to take to change your life is going to feel forced. It's going to feel hard, and there's going to be resistance. But when you actively shift your identity shifting, you are embodying the version of yourself who is in full alignment with your desired outcome. And at that point, what happens is the things that you have to do, like the deep work, like the exercise, like getting into shape, like the good habits, every single thing you have to do to change your life is going to feel natural because your identity is in alignment with who you want to be. Now, the whole idea behind step 1 is not to try all the habits and try to focus on so many different things. It is to narrow your focus to the top things that will change your life. Depending on you and your situation, there are 3 things that are holding you back from achieving your goals. This could be a bad habit. This could be getting distracted all the time. This could be your phone and doom scrolling. We all have different things. For a lot of us, it's the same thing. But identify those things. Identify all of the things that are holding you back. Because if nothing is holding you back, then the only direction you have to move is forward. If nothing is holding you back from your goal, then you will naturally find yourself moving towards your goal. And then on top of that, once you remove everything that holds you back, you can add things that boost your progress, that make you move even faster. Now, to do this, you're going to need a notebook just like this. I want you to write down the top 3 things that are holding you back from getting to your goal. Now, we all know what we have to do, right? It's not about knowledge. It's more about uncovering what you already know. So 3 things that are holding you back. This could be scrolling. This could be context switching, not doing deep work properly. This could be a limiting belief. 3 things. And now another list of 3 things that you need to do. Good habits, positive changes that reinforce your future identity and get you to where you want to be so you can become unrecognizable in 30 days. Now, common change to lock it in, and let's go to part number 2. And most people think they're not where they want to be because of luck, because of circumstance, strategy, or whatever that might be. But the truth is, it's just because of lack of discipline. Your level of success never exceeds your level of discipline. Now we're going to get into exactly how you can build that discipline this week. Step number 2. Build the disciplined identity. Now, you can't physically become disciplined instantly within a week, nor can you do so mentally. What you can do is see yourself as disciplined for a week. You can pretend for a week, right? Especially in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, they found that the people who visualized a certain exercise gained the same amount of strength as the people who actually did the exercise. And that shows that the subconscious cannot tell the difference between an experience that is vividly imagined and an experience that actually happens in real life. So pretending is key. Faking it till you make it. This applies to discipline. This applies to creating an archetype of who you want to be, that Bruce Wayne figure, and living up to that, practicing that every single day. So that eventually what you practice, you get good at. So eventually you're practicing living the identity you want to live every single day, and you get so good at it that it becomes you. The same way faking bravery is actually being brave. Faking discipline is being disciplined. So plan your schedule. Follow it for a week. Plan tomorrow today. Every single night before I go to sleep, I write down a list of all the tasks I have to do tomorrow for tomorrow to be a successful day. I write a headline tomorrow. I write the date of tomorrow, and I write down a list of tasks. And this is no more than 5 tasks. So for the first week, even when you don't feel like doing the work, do the work anyways. It's not about feeling. It's about creating evidence so you can shift your identity. What builds identity is actually evidence. If you've continually seen a lot of money hit your bank account every single month for years, you will have the identity of somebody who makes a lot of money. If you have consistently received compliments for your physique, then you will have the identity of somebody who has a good physique. If you consistently see evidence of the same thing happening in your life again and again and again, then you will believe it and it will become your self-image, your identity. So create a time limit. Limit yourself to 7 days of discipline. You don't have to be disciplined for more than 7 days, but just constrict the window so you can be motivated to show up. And just for the next 7 days, be as disciplined as you possibly can. Read the books, journal, meditate. Stay away from distractions. Cut out all the bad habits. Sleep early, wake up early. Plan tomorrow today. Do 4 hours of deep work every single day. Don't spend time with people who hold you down. Be grateful every single day. Go to the gym 5 times a week. Train martial arts. Eat healthy food. Eliminate processed food from your diet. Do the work you've been avoiding. Go outside. Go for a walk every single day. Walk 10,000 steps. Go for daily runs. Reflect on your day. Start the day without your phone. Do all of those things and your life will change. So set yourself this challenge. If you really think about it, if you can't be disciplined for the next 7 days, then can you even be disciplined at all? The chances are probably not. So just by watching this video and listening to me speak about the challenge, you already know exactly what you have to do. And you're gonna have the urge to negotiate with yourself. You're at the door, you're going for a run, and all of a sudden you're thinking about how not going for a run is gonna be the good play. How you're gonna get good shoes, good running shoes next week, so maybe run next week instead of today. You're gonna make random excuses with just about anything. With the deep work, you're gonna give some random justification as to why you shouldn't do it today. You're gonna tell yourself, next week, I finished my exam, so I can finally focus on my business. Or next week, I don't have as much work in my 9 to 5, so I can lock in. Because part of you thinks that you're gonna be more motivated tomorrow than you are today. Part of you thinks that the version of you a week from now is a different version of you than the version who's making that same excuse. But it's the same exact version, the same person, who's gonna still feel demotivated, still feel tired, still feel the same excuses come up. So there's no right time to start. There's no perfect moment. It's just about creating the circumstances to be the best version of yourself. Create the environment that forces you to change. If you're surrounded by 5 people who make millions of dollars a year, you're gonna be the 6th who makes that amount of money. If you're surrounded with 5 people who work all day and are entrepreneurs, you're gonna focus for at least some time. It's all about environment, and it's all about putting yourself in an environment that forces you to succeed. I remember when training jiu-jitsu, I would actively put myself in sparring with people who are way better than me. Instead of sparring people who are at my level or below, I would spar people who are way better than me. Putting myself in that competitive environment actually helped me improve way faster. And that's the same with anything. If you want to be disciplined, put yourself in a disciplined environment. Surround yourself with people who have the money you want to have. Surround yourself with people who have the income you want to have, who have the habits you want to have, the physique you want to have, and you will get those things as a result. Also, by the way, I've also seen that a lot of you that are watching these videos aren't subscribed, so subscribe to the channel. And let's go to part number 3, the trick of the trade, the free discipline. So part 2 probably surprised you. You were expecting to be disciplined for a month, for 2 months, but I told you just 1 week. Now here's where it gets interesting. For the first week, you will be building systems for your discipline to carry on effortlessly for the next 21 days after that. So the first week is actually setting you up for a whole month of discipline. Now the biggest misconception with discipline is that discipline is willpower. It is doing the hard work, especially when you feel like it, even though that's a good thing. The most sustainable form of discipline, which is the most important thing, if you're able to be disciplined for just 1 week and then you go back to your old self for the next 6 months, then what's the point of that? The most important discipline is the one that you can stick to for years, for your whole life. And that is the one that is sustainable. And sustainable discipline comes when you have the aligned identity. It is actually about making discipline easy. Now, there are many ways to do this. Number 1 from Atomic Habits is reducing friction between you and the good work and the deep work and the good habits. List out the things that you need to do in order to become more disciplined, and design and adjust and engineer your environment in such a way that it's easy to do those things. If your phone is always next to you, it's always going to be easier to scroll. There's low friction between you and scrolling, you and checking your phone and being on your phone always. But it's the same thing with the good habits. If you have so many books and you have a book next to your bedstand, and there's a book on your desk, and there's a book behind me in the bookshelves, and there's a book on my bed, and then there's a book there, and there's books everywhere, I'm that much more likely to read because my environment screams productivity. So ask yourself the work that you need to do. Say that you do 2 hours of deep work every single day. 2 hours of deep work and you get the results you're getting, you get X result. And we're not talking about fake productivity. We're talking about actual deep work. No distractions, productive work, highest value things. If you're able to sustain 2 hours of deep work, you get X result. If you multiply that by 4 and you can do 8 hours of deep work, then you're also multiplying the results you get by 4. The output is going to be 4x. So if you're making 10K a month working 4 hours a day, then just think about that. If you double the amount of productive and efficient work that you do, shouldn't the output, the income, actually double as well? Chances are it will. That's because inputs equals outputs. Whatever you put into your business, the work you put in, the ideas, the execution, all of that feeds into the model and it gives you the output. And you're able to scale your business, to delegate, and to get to the next step. So with the same amount of work, or with more work, ask yourself how you can achieve more. So remove the friction between you and everything that is gonna help you get to the next step and become unrecognizable, and add as much friction as possible between you and all the bad habits, all the procrastination, all the doom scrolling. And this is environment optimization, which is just going to make it easier for you to win. You see, most people are able to run a sprint, but they can't last for the marathon. Life is not a sprint. Discipline is not a sprint. Business is not a sprint. Everything in life is a marathon. It is who can last longer. So the point of this exercise is, for the first week, build the system, build the identity, start seeing yourself as a productive person. Do this visualization exercise where you just close your eyes and just imagine that successful, disciplined version of yourself, the best version of yourself that exists. Now imagine what they think. What are the common thoughts that come through their mind? What they feel, do they feel grateful? Do they feel negative? Do they feel positive? Do they feel inspired, empowered? And the actions they take, how they think, how they feel, and how they act. And just imagine for a second that you are that person from today. Think, feel, and act like that future version of yourself. I know this sounds vague, but just try to wrap your mind around that idea. And after the first week of building the system and starting to shift your identity, the next 3 weeks are going to be much easier because now you have systems working for you. And it's the contrast that makes a big difference. And that is where rewards come in. You shouldn't forget about rewards. Discipline is also knowing how to reward yourself. It is knowing when to watch a TV show. It is knowing when to watch a movie, knowing when to go with friends, knowing when to spend time in leisure, because you also have a reward system, right? You have effort and then you have reward and then you have effort and reward. Most people have fried dopamine systems just because, not because they reward themselves, but because they reward themselves at the wrong times. They reward themselves first thing in the morning before they did any high effort tasks, before they did any deep work. But you need to actively reward yourself only after you've done the highest priority, the highest leverage things. The most important tasks of the day, finish all the tasks you have to do, everything to call today a successful day, and then reward yourself. That is important for the cognitive lock and loop. You are reinforcing the correct behavior. This is going to allow you to be more productive and lock in even more the next day, instead of, working more than you need to and then burning out. Most people try to change everything, the habits, the routines, the gym, the timings, the schedule, without first changing themselves. And as a consequence, they're not able to sustain that change for more than a week. And so they burn out and they crash. But this won't happen to you if you follow this blueprint from A to Z. Now, if you know that procrastination, doom scrolling, getting distracted, opening up your phone way too often, constantly switching between tasks, planning out everything you have to do and then doing nothing, and all of these things are holding you back from getting to the income, to the goals, to the physique, to everything that you want, and you know that it's just time to make a change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes, then check out the link in the description below. Watch that video over there where I explain everything. Now, your level of success never exceeds your level of discipline. Take care, and you got this.